in a specific group called inclusive growth. And the purpose of inclusive growth is to take technology to rural parts of the world. Since we are based out of Bangalore, inclusive growth, we started taking on technology. We focus purely on 3 areas. One is education, number 2 is skills development, and the third is healthcare. Right? I'll just touch on healthcare, even though that's not the topic. Healthcare in the states of Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, we have in the last 12 months enabled 33,000 telemedicine consultations. Okay, we manage the system end to end. People say, अगर आप गांव में जाओगे, electricity नहीं है, we take care of the electricity fees. BSNL मेरे ऑफिस में सेक्रेटरी IT मध्य प्रदेश said, मेरे ऑफिस में BSNL काम नहीं करता है, तुम बोल रहे हो तुम दतिया में काम कराओगे. My only answer to him was, sir, please wait for 6 months, we'll show you some results. Madhya Pradesh alone accounts for 14,000 of these consultations. So we manage the network, we monitor the network, we take care of the equipment that is there in the classroom or in the medical center site. And that's when consultations happen. And these are all doctors, nurses of the state government. Okay, we are not imposing any private doctors there. We try to enable the state system to become self-sufficient. Now let me shift to education and skills. India has got 1.3 million primary schools, 4.5 million teachers. You have got 3 teachers per school, but most of these teachers are in the urban areas and towns. When you go to the rural area, rural primary, they are not qualified to do so, right? So we have an issue on our hands. Now what we did was, now using technology, Cisco is of course a leader in technology, networking, cloud, and collaboration in video technologies. So what we did was, we said, how can we make use of the technologies that we have in our hands to do something and overcome some of these problems, right? So we took, two-way voice and video technology along with the collaboration and cloud platforms. And we took a teacher from an NGO in Bangalore. We took state board curriculum in Karnataka. We converted it into a digital sort of format. And this expert teacher is teaching classes which are 800 kilometers away. Right? Let me just share a video with you.
Is the ultimate enabler for any society. Any
students and teachers are getting ready for another day. Children line up in the classroom as teachers prepare their subjects and ready themselves to answer queries. The only difference, the teachers will be teaching classes that are nearly 500 kilometers away.
Cisco is trying to create a platform based on data networking that will bring people who are left out of the economic strata of the nation and bring them into the mainstream economy of the world.
So this is what the student sees in the classroom, pretty much like whatever you are seeing. Now all this content can be put in the cloud and it can be shown, right? So when you are teaching somebody Newton's first law of motion, that entire experiment can be done. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, or whichever laws of motion that you want to talk about. It can be done, it can be shown, and students can learn, and they can go and repeat themselves, right? So that's essentially what we have enabled. So for classes 5, 6, 7 and 8, 2,000 children today are learning. We have also extended this to SC/ST student hostels, right? I mean, Government of Karnataka runs these hostels for backward class children, and they bring them into this, the local towns or maybe small towns, and then they go to neighborhood schools. These children are fed, clothed and kept there, and then they go to the neighborhood schools. But again, the quality of teaching is not great. So we have done interventional learning, right? Now the kids can be taught vocational learning as well.
Through this interface, teachers reach out to hundreds of students at the same.
I'll just stop here. Now you can see this is a much more clearer picture in terms of how the student can actually, the teacher can actually see the students, and the teacher can actually blow up one of these tiles, and you can actually see a much bigger picture of the class. Now this video is about a year old. In this the teacher is actually sitting and teaching. What we have now enabled is for the teacher to move around, in a certain area where the teacher will actually start writing on the board. If the teacher starts writing on a board, the camera there captures, and there's a camera here which captures the class. You can toggle between the two. The teacher is actually more comfortable sort of moving around with the chalk in their hands.
In time, students become part of a larger community, thus helping them integrate easily into the mainstream. Teachers and students are both excited by the prospect of remote education.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ. ನಾನು 8ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಓದುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಊರಿನ ಹೆಸರು ಎಲೆಬಿಚ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ. ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಬಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ. ನಾನು ವಾರದಲ್ಲಿ 3 ದಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್, ಗಣಿತ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ಸಮಾಜ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಕೋ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ನಂತರ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸುಧಾರಿಸಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ನಾನು ಇಚ್ಛೆಪಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Cisco technology has certainly induced the children to take interest in learning. The teachers who are observing this process, they can improve their skills. If we extended this system, this Cisco technology to other school children will definitely take interest.
A teacher currently can...
I'll stop the video right now. But essentially what this shows is using very low technology, very low amount of technology, you can take literally world-class education across various locations. Now we connected, Indian Institute of Science professors, a bunch of them are there retired, they now got a company, and they do engineering education. Sir, along with your 65,000 schools, you also have a bank of 400,000 teachers, right? You also have 4 lakh teachers.
Yes.
Out of that 4 lakh teachers,
but digital linking is a must.
yeah,
Yes.
and we take care of
So
that.
unless we link all the schools with the digital tools,
Sir, you don't have to do all the 65,000 on day one.
then
You start with your set
then
of...
we are starting.
No. What I'm saying is if you already have it, that's great. Then where is the question of not having the
No.
linkage?
These are good things.
Ah.
ICT should go and digitization should be in the education system.
Yes.
For multiplicity
Yes.
of good things.
Absolutely. So if you already have the links, then there is no problem. If you don't have the links, my suggestion is you adopt it in a phased fashion. You go to the first 1,000 schools, then the next 2,000 schools, and then the next 3,000 schools like that, or maybe at a faster pace, right? So for example, you are getting the LOFM network now, which will give you 100 Mbps at a panchayat level. Maybe that can be extended. We are doing that in Rajasthan right now, just to showcase it further. So what we are trying to show is in our own small way, right? We are trying to say that technology can be used. It has a limited amount of use in terms of specific purposes that it can be used for, and how we use it depends upon us. The way we want to use it depends upon us, right? It is not a panacea for everything. And one of the things is, see, Indians, okay, maybe I'm generalizing it, maybe you disagree with me, okay, but our students are not mature enough to learn till at least they get to the master's level. And even then it's probably a question mark. I know it's a very controversial statement. But a lot of us are used to somebody telling us how to learn, how to read and stuff like that. So by throwing material at somebody and expecting that person to learn, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen even with teachers training, right? So we did the same thing for teachers training, where the teaching instructor was at one location, which is Bangalore. 282 teachers were there across 6 locations. Okay? And we did the training from morning 9 to evening 5 across 5 days, Monday to Friday. There was not one dropout. And this was done in coordination with SCERT, using their content which was provided by British Council, and the training was done by an NGO. So there is a way that I went into master's level. So if you just give somebody a training, particularly a school-going child, if you just give them content and expect them to learn, it's not going to happen. Okay. Similarly, if you're expecting teachers just by giving them content and you're expecting them to learn, it's not going to happen because of various factors. So there has to be some level of corralling and shepherding people in terms of how they start learning, and then